thank you everybody for joining. I'm Shannon Bloemker, as AJ mentioned, and I'm the founder and CEO of Energy Raven. I'm here with Chad Hett of Elite Group Inspections, the largest inspection company in California. He's going to join me about halfway through when we're going to really start jumping into some case studies of how this has worked for his business and how it can work for yours. So what we're here today to talk about is an exciting new product offering that we think is a real game changer for inspectors. So bear with me. I'm just going to share my screen to make sure everybody can see what we're up to. Let's see if I can do a slideshow. Great. How's that? Okay, cool. So like I said, this is a new product offering that we have, and we believe that provides a real upgrade to your home inspection by giving home buyers unique energy insights into the home that they're about to purchase. Let's see. So a little bit about me and my background. I've spent my career in home services. And I've done everything from construction to fix and flip investing to starting my own property management business. I feel like I've done a little bit of everything in the home services space. I even once tried my hand at home inspections, got my certification, but quickly realized that my skills were better suited to sitting behind a desk rather than being under a house. So kudos to you guys for continuing to be that. And now I just want to be the wind in your sails. So I've created a software product that I think truly levels up the home inspection results and gives inspectors a game-changing new product to bring to home buyers. So I want to start with giving you a broad overview of how we're going to go through the topics. First, we'll dive into why we created this company in the first place, why we think inspectors should really get to know it. Then we'll go into what's happening in the world right now that makes this such a valuable addition for home buyers. We'll spend a little bit of time really diving into the demo of the homeowner dashboard, which is the product that the homeowner receives, so that you can really get an understanding of what they'll see, why it's so valuable for them, and why it's a real game changer. Then we'll cover some of the products that you may be more familiar with, as AJ alluded to, such as a traditional energy audit, even a home energy score, so that you know the difference between what those products are and what Energy Raven does. We'll also talk a little bit about how we built the software so that you know why we're able to provide such great content without you having to do the hours of work that an energy auditor typically does. We'll then dive into exactly what information we need in order to collect the data during the inspection, and we'll cover step by step how that will work for you and your business and your inspectors. And then, well, I just want to say, spoiler alert, it's actually crazy easy. So, and that's part of what Chad's going to help me talk to you guys about too. So we'll chat with Chad Hett from Elite Group Inspections, as I mentioned, the largest inspection company in California, about how his business has benefited from partnering with Energy Raven. And we'll talk a little bit about the pricing strategy, a little bit about what the partnership means, so that you can think about how this might work for your company. We'll go into the many ways that Energy Raven supports our inspection partners, why inspectors are so awesome. We're going to cover that for sure. And then I'd like to open it up to any questions that you might have for Chad and I. Please feel free to submit those via the chat at any time throughout the presentation, and we'll do our best to cover them all at the end. It's a little bit hard to keep going back and forth and jumping around, but please just throw anything in there and we'll make sure and cover it. And then if there's any time at the end, Chad and I will do some of what we love doing when we're offline, which is chatting about the future of home inspections and where we see it going, and just kind of riffing on where we see the future of the industry. So let's just jump right in. What if, in addition to the vast amounts of structural, code-related, and life safety information that you already give to home buyers, you could also help them understand how the home might perform, what it costs to operate, what the systems are like that heat and cool and ventilate it, and what changes they might need to make based on conditions that were called out during the inspection. In the past, if a home buyer wanted to know information about the utility costs of a prospective home, They'd either have to ask the previous owners for their bills, which of course has all kinds of privacy and behavioral considerations, or more likely they'd simply have to wait and see until now. So introducing Energy Raven. We believe that every home buyer should understand the energy profile of a home that they're about to purchase. By leveraging the power of today's big data sets that are available and artificial intelligence tools that weren't available before, we can now make energy performance analytics easy to give to your clients. We include things like estimated energy costs by system, breakdowns by fuel types, recommendations for things that you've identified as being inoperable or at the end of their useful life, concrete ways to reduce energy consumption and save money, and probably the most exciting for many buyers is how they can access the thousands of dollars in tax credits and rebates that are out there to offset the cost of these upgrades. And we even give them an analysis of their home solar potential, which is pretty exciting and very topical. So why now? As I mentioned, the technology really didn't exist before to provide this kind of content as easily as we are making it. Plus, it's no surprise that energy costs are rising across the country. I feel like every day there's another headline about it. I'm sure you feel the same way in your area. Many of you have also noticed that there's been an increase in interest in solar and electric vehicles. You guys may even be fielding questions from buyers about this, but now you can give them answers. More importantly, the Inflation Reduction Act that was passed in 2022 has made over $9 billion in additional rebates available to specifically help homeowners improve their home's energy efficiency. Many buyers and even their agents have no idea about these kinds of rebates. And it's not just federal rebates. These are the federal rebates that I'm talking about right now, but states, local governments, even utilities all offer a variety of incentives to help reduce energy usage. And while some of them may be saying that it's to reduce greenhouse gas emissions or decarbonization, electrification, and things like that, doesn't really matter. The reality is that particularly the utilities are highly motivated by grid instability and the stratospheric cost of adding new generative capacity. So whatever their motivation, the reality is that there's literally thousands of dollars out there for every homeowner. And we're bringing you guys a way to get that information to them. Finally, we love having inspectors as partners because when they have to give bad news sometimes about inoperable systems or, like we were saying, an inefficient system, now you can be the bearer of good news alongside of it. You can make sure that they're getting the money that's due to them and that they have some solutions to any problems that you've had to call out. This is a house that's in Sacramento. So as I was mentioning, this landing page right here gives the current breakdown of where the house is today. So total estimated energy costs, which items are already efficient, carbon footprint, and then where it starts to get more interesting is this breakdown by system and fuel type. So as I was mentioning, in this particular situation, Sacramento gets very hot in the summer, but it's not very cold in the winter. So cooling costs are a big component. It's the number one portion of their expense here. But then you can see the usage type. Heating is actually a bigger user of energy. And it just gives them an idea of if they ended up fuel switching, which happens a lot in California, how that might impact their costs. We also give a breakdown by season, which I think is really exciting because if a home buyer comes in and let's say buys their home in March or April, they're looking at very low energy costs, and then all of a sudden they could stratospherically skyrocket come summer because, like we said, cooling is very high. This is a way to give them really good insights into the fact that this is actually very seasonal impact. And you would see very different profile if you were talking about a home in Minneapolis or Florida. So we're pretty excited about that. We also give them some system details down here about which systems exactly are gas or electric. because you'll be surprised how many homeowners actually have no idea which systems are fueled by it. So we're excited to be able to at least present some kind of content to give them an idea of what they're looking about when they talk about the energy of this home. Where it really starts to get more fun is this next tab, which is the ways to improve tab. So we start off with a solar analysis that gives people an idea of what kind of potential their home has for generating solar energy. So we've partnered with Google's Project Solar, and it does a lot of really great satellite imagery to tell us things like what is the square footage of the roof area, how much of it might be usable for solar based on tree occlusion, or shading from adjacent structures. It gives us the slope and the materials. We can then layer in the weather files and the longitude, latitude information to say exactly how many hours of usable sunlight this home has. We also call in from the inspection report what amperage the electrical panel is, because you need to usually be about 200 amps in order to add solar to your home. So we want to let people know if that's going to be an additional expense that they'll have to consider when looking at solar energy. We give them lifetime savings information based on the average life of their panels, and tell them about how much electricity they can offset in addition to the tax credits and rebates that are available. So tons and tons of information that's available on solar. We also give them this link up here, which can link them to some top solar installers in their area. I sometimes get questions about this from inspectors. This is actually a feature that we're looking to build out more in the future alongside home inspectors. So if you have contacts in solar or people you often refer to, we can easily weave that kind of information into here so that they're getting connected with people that you've recommended as well. So I'll talk a little bit more about that in a second. As you scroll down, one of the things that you'll see that our recommendation algorithm does is it sorts these recommendations by how much savings they can generate. So in this case, attic insulation would save them a ton of money, almost a third of the costs of their energy. And so, I can't say for sure what kind of insulation was called out. We don't try and get too deep in the weeds on it. We do ask as part of the inspection intake form. But basically, we're just telling people your house would benefit from additional insulation. It's not currently properly insulated. And then it does actually generate what this potential savings are and how that could really benefit them. We go into this in each one of the cards that we show people information about. In this case, we're recommending that they switch to a ducted heat pump to help really reduce their cooling savings, as well as provide the heat that they need. We explain what a ducted heat pump is, again, with the tax credits and rebates. So really, really exciting, lots and lots of content that's here. We want to make sure people have something for everyone. There's all kinds of information. If you go further down here about EV charging information, smart home energy monitoring systems, windows, which unfortunately, even if you switch out single to double pane windows in a cold climate, is not often cost effective. It doesn't tend to save as much energy as people think. But we do tell them what kind of information that they would need to know about that based on the data that comes out of the inspection report. So let's scroll back up to the top here and go to this third section, which is the tax credits and rebates. This is where we really think we provide your clients with their money's worth. And while it's not the most exciting tab to look at, the content is really worth the price of admission. So we use artificial intelligence to scrape everything that's available in the internet and tell us what kinds of federal, state, local, and utility specific rebates are available based on where your client lives. there's no easy way to make this content less dry, but we really do focus on the content here, and we want to make sure that they see everything that's out there that could qualify for them. One of the biggest things is, like I mentioned earlier, the Inflation Reduction Act, which is bringing literally billions of dollars for home energy efficiency. That program has not even been released yet. So there's a lot of upcoming programs that are going to provide even more money to people. And we give them a little bit of a hint about this. And one of the reasons this is super important is not everybody, when they close on a house, is ready to do one of these improvement projects. And so, we're really trying to be here for as long as that homeowner might need us to help them make good choices year after year. So as I mentioned, this particular section here is about the Inflation Reduction Act money that's coming available. It's predominantly for low and moderate income households, does provide quite a lot of money. And we give them an easy way up here to see whether they qualify for low and moderate income. So this is actually kind of a fun tab. You might laugh at this if you're coming from anywhere but California. But in Sacramento, the median income is $113,000. And so in order to be qualified as a moderate income household, you really just have to make less than $170,000, which is a whole lot of people. And so in those cases, those people would qualify for up to 50% of all of these numbers, which is quite a lot of money toward making these projects. So as I said, I know that this is kind of dry. One of the things that's very exciting you can share with people is they can ask us anything at any time. It is free to them for life. And we will help them navigate it. We'll go through and make sure what programs are available when they are ready to do the project. A lot of these programs get oversubscribed very quickly, or they can get paused and restarted. So we tell them exactly what's available. We help them file the paperwork and make sure that they're not missing out on money that's there for them. So let's just go back to, let's see, this other tab. Somebody keep me honest and make sure that this is showing up. Did that work?
Yep, looks good.
Okay, awesome. So back to this presentation, as I alluded to earlier, I really did want to talk a little bit about what an energy audit is and how Energy Raven is different and similar. So a full home energy audit is exactly what you might think. It's a thorough and complete analysis of the home's energy uses. It's expensive because it takes a lot of time, and it uses specialty equipment for things like conducting a blower door test. It does take into consideration who's living in the home and what their habits are like. It considers auxiliary equipment that the person might have, such as a hot tub or a standalone freezer in the garage or home theater system. And the output is highly detailed, but is often overwhelming. If you've ever had a client say that your reports are long and overwhelming, these are almost twice as long. So not super actionable, and not surprisingly, not a lot of people get these. So a home energy score was introduced by the Department of Energy years ago as kind of an alternative. It's like a energy audit light. It costs a lot less. It doesn't do a blower door test, doesn't take into consideration user behavior or special equipment. It's what we call an asset level rating, which is exactly what Energy Raven is as well. It just looks at the home structure and system and normalizes it for all user behavior. And then it comes up with a score between 1 and 10 to tell you, how energy efficient your home is. And then it'll tell you like how much you can improve that by if you make certain changes. So Energy Raven is most similar to the home energy score. The first thing that's different though is it's a web link. It's not a PDF. And so it feels modern and interactive, which we love. We chose not to do a score like the home energy score does because we think it often can send a negative connotation, and people don't really know what that means. What does it mean if I'm a 7? Is that good or bad? So we left that out and just let the data kind of speak for itself. Just like the home energy score report, like I said, we also do an asset level rating, so we normalize behavioral usage. We assume there's roughly 4 people in the home and that they do an average amount of laundry and then take an average amount of showers, and things like that. And that, they don't have a hot tub and grandma's not turning the temperature up to 80 all winter long. So it really should be more about the house, which is probably the most relevant thing for a home buyer because they haven't yet lived in that house. They don't even know what additional equipment they might ultimately put in there. So we think that this is really the most appropriate thing for a home buyer to have. It's also different because we add in that solar and EV information that's really topical and interesting to people. Of course, we connect them with all the tax credits and rebates, which are not part of the other 2 reports and can be a real difference maker in certain markets where there's literally like thousands and thousands of dollars available. And I promise you, every single state still has some credits available for some things, and people just don't know that it's out there. We also offer customer service, which there's no Department of Energy software that would do that. So, we think that that's a huge help, especially when we're partnering with people to distribute this. We want to make sure that your clients are being taken care of. One thing I did want to get to, so if you're reading the fine print up here, you can see that I'm saying that this takes less than 5 minutes to do. I really believe that that's true. And I want to dive into exactly what kind of data that we do need so that you can believe me too, that it's only 5 minutes. So as I mentioned at the beginning of the presentation, we use large data sets and artificial intelligence to gather as much information as we can possibly find via satellite, via sampling data, so that we only need to ask the inspectors for the critical information that cannot be gotten from someplace else. And here's the list. You'll notice that 90% of it is stuff you already collect, which is why we think home inspectors are really the best partners for us to be working with. The other few pieces that are here, such as things like ceiling height or air tightness, dominant lighting type, these aren't going to be hard for you to or your inspectors to estimate in the field. Remember that we're providing home buyers with really valuable estimated energy expenses, meaning it's not precision that we're going for. It doesn't matter if it's 7.5 feet high ceilings or 8 feet high ceilings. Is it 7 or 8 or 9? Roughly. And inspectors are really the best people to be able to gauge that. You guys already know homes inside out and backwards, and can certainly help us gauge things like air tightness, other physical gaps around vents and things like that, that really help us do a better job of giving people the kind of information that they need to know. So when you look at this list, you can see that clearly it would not take you very long to put in the additional information that is not already part of your report. So we've done everything we can to make this so easy to incorporate into your business. Like I said, you just gather the information in the field using your same existing software, and you send it to us via your same existing scheduling platform, and we do the rest. We have integrations with most software platforms that you use, and we find that this is probably, oops, did I skip past that? I did, sorry. So we have integrations with most of the software that you already use. If you are using something that is not on this list, please tell me, and I'm sure that we can find a way to make it work. So onboarding could not be easier. We just need to get some information about your company, sort of where you're located, how many inspectors are part of your company, what your volume is like, what software you use, and then we'll help you set up the right templates and email triggers, as I mentioned. We'll also work with you to understand what sales strategy might work best for you, for your company, your team, your goals, and the market that you're in. We do support you with an array of marketing materials to help tell you tell your clients and agents all about the fabulous new addition to your inspection suite. I do have another slide that's coming up that goes into a bit more detail about the exactly what these marketing tools look like. Like I said, we just gather a few extra questions. The template is submitted the same way that you submit reports to clients, whether it's ISN or Spectora. And then we do the rest. Within 24 to 48 hours, we send a deep link to your client via email with no logins or any kind of accounts required. So like I said, super, super easy. So as I mentioned before, Chad Hett is joining me. Thank you, Chad. I'd like to bring him into the conversation now. So Elite was one of the first companies to bring Energy Raven to their market. And I really want you to hear from him about how they position it and what that experience has been like. For those of you who don't know Elite, like I said earlier, they are the largest inspection company in California, with over 25,000 home inspections a year and over $15 million in annual revenue. It's probably worth mentioning that they didn't always have such a big company. They started out as a 1 to 2 man operation, just like many of you. Chad's been in the trenches. He knows what he's talking about. And through constant innovation and always keeping the home buyer experience as their key focus, they've been able to grow into the industry leader that they are today. When Energy Raven was starting out, our thought was that the reports would be the perfect add-on service. But when we met Chad, he convinced us that every inspection company is different. And in Elite's case, adding Energy Raven to their premium packages enabled them to raise prices, stand out from the competition, and boost sales of their highest margin bundles. So Chad, thank you for joining me. I'd love for you to tell the group here how the partnership with Energy Raven has been so far and what you're looking forward to as you continue to grow your business.
Yeah, thank you, Shannon. And everything that you have said so far, as far as the onboarding and the marketing materials that you provided our company, outstanding. Probably one of the best onboarding experiences the Elite Group has ever had when it comes to services or products that we've added. So kudos to you and your team, because it's spot on, and it just made the transition to using this product just so easy and simple. So definitely I can confirm that part of it and what you just said. But offering this this energy report has been like just gold for us, because it's the one last inspection that we could not, there's a lot of questions that always come to our inspectors, like about energy. How much is it going to cost? And so this report really answers all those questions in so many different ways. And along with the rebates and everything, it simplifies everything for the homeowner to see what they're going to be paying as far as energy, and then how they can save and how they can be better. And your report and just that dashboard makes it so easy for them to get that if they wanted it. So as far as our sales, I mean, like it says right here, we're up over 35% in our packages, and it just really boosted that, and it just made us stand out from all the different competitors. And Shannon, you know this about our company, where from day one we've always been, just to say it, back in the 90s, we were the first ones to email a report. And as funny as that sounds, we're always looking for that innovation to set us apart from the competitors. And, from emailing the report, taking digital photos and adding those. So we've always found ways to separate us from the competitors. And this is like the newest, best thing that we've added that just separates us, because it's such an aesthetically beautiful report. It's simple. It makes us look really good and professional. It helps the agents, it helps the buyers, and it's really just, done a lot for not only that, just for our sales team alone. It's just something to talk about that's different out there. So
yeah, I'm glad you brought that up, actually, because I know that we've been working with your sales team for a little bit on, making this the new cool thing that they're talking about in 2024. I mean, you have pretty aggressive goals for even increasing
Yeah,
your package sales this year. Do you think that this is going to be helpful?
absolutely. This is one of our key services when we're adding to the package. This is one of the things that our call center is really talking about on adding. So definitely it really opens like that door. Just it really raises the eyebrows a little bit on the buyers and agents. They're like, what? Like what? I never heard of this. You know, this is something that's brand new. And then we sent them a sample report, and then it's like they thank us because they didn't even have any idea this is even possible. So yeah, this is good.
Yeah, it's, I mean, I guess I shouldn't be surprised. I mean, I'm in the industry, but you know, a lot of the agents have no idea that there's all of this money that's available now and even more of it coming soon. So I think that they're pretty excited when you're walking in with new information. I mean, they're used to inspectors coming in and, you know, giving them a pitch about all their usual tricks in the book, but you know, this has got to be a real difference in terms of conversational strategy.
Way different. And it's, like I said, it's that one final piece that they couldn't access or get information to for the utilities, the expenses on that end. So it's just, it's been really good for us. It's newer, but it's climbing and getting a lot of traction, and we're getting, you know, the thank yous from agents and, you know, hey, make sure that that energy report is added on to this, because when they're calling in the second and third time, they're really wanting this report. So
That's awesome.
we're excited for it to just keep on getting traction, and the more it gets out there, the bigger it gets. So yeah.
Yeah, I know you guys are also embarking on a new trial, which so anybody who either, you know, didn't pay attention to your pitch the first time and didn't add it on, you know, you're now
Yeah.
sending them follow-up emails. Actually, I think it starts next month, I think you said, but you know, sending them a follow-up email because you're gathering the information on every inspection anyway. This gives you like a
Right.
retargeting campaign.
Yeah. So you're absolutely right. Our inspectors are gathering this information on every single inspection. Like you said, it takes 5 minutes. I can confirm that. My guys were blown away by that. They were thinking it's going to be a long time, but no, it's 5 minutes. So we take all the information on every single inspection, and we do follow up and retarget, and it's another ancillary service we can sell to, you know, boost the tickets and just keep that revenue coming in. So
That's
it's a
awesome.
great product to do so. Yeah.
Awesome. I'm glad you said it was easy, because we really pitched you on it being easy, and you were like,
Yeah.
look, my guys won't do even one more thing in the field.
One
And you
more
know,
thing, it's
I
it's tough. And anybody that's listening that has a multi-inspector firm, they know what I'm talking about, because it's true. I mean, these guys want to get in, get out, and I understand it. There's a lot there now, and you know, from sewer scopes to radon, and they're doing so much already. So this is definitely one of the more simple things to do out of any ancillary service for sure. Yeah.
Yeah, and they were, I remember being excited because I heard from a couple of your inspectors that they actually felt good about this content being available, because I mean, they are the first line out there with the home buyers, and if they get you know, asked a question about an EV or a solar, like, hey, good news, you can get an energy report. Like, they don't have to sit there kind of deer in the headlights guessing, or you know, it really gives them an answer.
Absolutely. It's been great for our guys just to defer those questions and get that report done for them. So yeah.
Awesome. Thanks, Chad. So I do want to mention that we make this as easy as possible for any business to incorporate. If you're not a group that offers packages, that's totally fine. We charge $25 for a report, and essentially inspectors take it from there. So we do have other partners that have added this to all of their inspections. They've raised prices across the board. They've not lost market share. The increased price more than covers the cost of the reports, and it's kind of a win-win all the way around. Others have absorbed the cost and have swapped out other more costly features that they had traditionally put into their inspection, and they're now using Energy Raven for that differentiator instead. Some do still sell it as the add-on that we thought that people might do, because it really does have high margin. It's 5 minutes of work, it costs nothing, and Unlike radon, which maybe doesn't apply to every home uses energy, so it has real universal applicability. I did want to mention that one of the groups that has recently started putting this into all of their packages in Texas called us last week and said that they'd had over 10 customers literally call them back and thank them for the valuable information that was contained in that report. That's crazy.
Yeah. That's being done here as well. So it's,
yeah, I mean,
it's getting,
like, when was the last time that a customer called you and thanked you for something? So
no,
we're happy
very,
to be the reason that they're doing that.
for sure.
So I mentioned earlier that we do have a full suite of marketing support. So, you know, we have things like co-branded flyers and agent in-office presentations, website copy, widgets, literally anything that that we could think of that would support you guys. We've tried to do it. So, you know, that's something that is part of our commitment to you. And like I mentioned earlier, Elite makes liberal use of our co-branded flyers and agent office presentations. And there's also homeowner ones that are leave behind. So literally anything that suits how you already do business or how you want to do business, I believe that we can support. So really happy to do that. You know, we're active on social platforms. So you follow us and we'll return the favor, and we make sure that you get seen. So inspectors are really the best partners. I hope that I have made that clear already. You provide critical insights about the home. You already know everything about the systems. Buyers trust you. They trust you to give them the information that they need to make good intelligence choices about their homes. This is just the next layer of that. We really think that this is information that ought to be in every home buyer's hands. But we're really excited to be partnering with home inspectors because we think that you guys are the most credible people to be bringing these insights to home buyers. It's also a huge differentiator for you and impresses agents and home buyers, as Chad mentioned. So, so to sum it up, upgrade your inspection output, turn bad news into good news, and stand out from a crowd. This is the game changer that you have been waiting for. And now I would really like to answer any questions that anybody has. And let's see, how can we access all the questions? We have both chat and
we do have a question in the Q&A from Anthony. He asked,
great.
can this be used for commercial inspection purposes? Also, can this be done in an occupied home?
It can for sure be done in an occupied home. You know, as I mentioned, it's not going to take user behavior into consideration. And so that's why we liked working with home buyers before just, you know, addressing how we could get this information to all homeowners. It won't work on commercial. So that's part of the Department of Energy software, is it doesn't take into consideration those much larger systems, shared walls, shared roofing systems. So it really won't work for that application. Sorry. Good question, though.
Brian also asked, what is the onboarding process? Is there a short version to that answer?
Yeah, the onboarding process could not be easier. You literally go onto our website, schedule a call time, and we'll help you integrate this. We've had people do it same day and offer it the next day. So it's very, very easy. Like I said, we're integrated with all of the usual suspects as far as inspection softwares, and we can make that easy.
How's Energy Raven monetizing the program?
As I said, we charge you $25 for each report, and what you charge or how you profit from it after that is up to you. So I gave a couple of examples earlier. Chad's adding it to packages because he has a lot of margin in those packages from other things. Some people have raised prices, like I said, across the board. Other people add it as an add-on. Chad's adding it as an add-on after the fact. We have people who are charging, you know, quite a lot of money for this in markets where energy information is really top of mind. Think places like Portland and Seattle. You know, it's you do you. It's we're here to help.
And Mark is wondering, was the volume pricing, or was the pricing in general?
Yeah, so the pricing is $25, but you know, I'm happy to talk about somebody who's doing thousands and thousands of reports. That's a good problem to have. So please call me.
And Samantha would like to know, would you say that this report is good for every kind of home buyer?
I would say that it is good for every kind of home buyer. We've had that question from a couple of inspectors who do a lot of new homes, and they're like, well, you know, why would I need this energy efficiency report for a brand new home? And I always ask them, well, why do you need a home inspection for a brand new home? Right? Like there's still a lot of data that is really good and credible that comes from having a professional go through and tell you information. And as you noted on the demo, like there's solar and EV information, probably not standard to a new home. There's smart energy monitoring and all kinds of additional things that people can do. There's always something that they can do. And even just knowing that their home is as energy efficient as the builder claimed it was, feels good.
James would like to know, when a customer asks for more information, what vendor does it go to? What vendors?
Yeah, so that is the feature that I would, yeah, that's a good question. So right now it comes to my team, and we field that on a case-by-case basis. We haven't had a lot of inquiry on that, but we just launched last month in January, so I'm not surprised by that. What we expect to see is that there will be some ongoing engagement. We've talked with Chad and his team about this. Some inspection companies have existing partners that they work with. We're happy to serve up those people, whether it's a solar installer or a general contractor or an HVAC person. In some regions, there are networks that are tied to the incentives that are available in that state, the state of Massachusetts, for example. So we just kind of work with whoever makes sense for that situation. But we expect that's a feature we're going to really build out more in the future. And part of our goal is to make sure that our inspection partners are also profiting from all of that connectivity. If we can make that even better and richer experience, then I'd like to see the inspectors be able to profit from it as well.
Is this available for mobile homes?
You know, it doesn't work very well for mobile homes because of the foundation issue, but I would say it's not terrible. So it's technically, because it's built on DOE software, this is true of any of the energy audit softwares that you would use, works on any 1 to 4 family building. So it would work for townhomes, works for small condos, not an apartment building, literally because of all the shared walls and sometimes shared services. So I would say it would be very close. I'd be curious to test it. I haven't had that question yet.
And that was you said it was also good for condos as well, right?
Condos that are part of like a 1 to 4 unit, that's kind of how they specify it. It would technically work for any condo that has its own systems. Obviously, if you're not in control of the heating system, or like it's very hard for us to say that you would, you know, work on. Why would you upgrade a heating system that you don't even own? So it's less good for that situation.
Is there a contractor program to participate in?
That's the thing I was just alluding to that we're looking to build out. Yes, absolutely.
All right. And last question from Brian is, can we add your live web, not the last one, but Brian does ask, can we add your live website report to Spectora client portal output, i.e. next to the main report?
Right, because it's not a PDF, it won't come through as it won't come through as part of the PDF of the report, which I think is what you're asking. So, you know, the good news is it just comes to them as a web link so that they don't have login blockers, and so that they can forward it to whoever else that they need it forwarded to. But it does work with Spectora.
And does it work? Does your software work in every state?
I am so glad you asked that. It works in every state except Alaska and Hawaii and oddly Nevada.
Okay. Samantha asked, do real estate agents know about this, about all about this free money and available to home buyers? Do real estate agents know all about this free money available to home buyers?
I wish they did, Chad. I mean, you've seen like none of the agents you've talked to seem to have a clue about it, right?
Don't have a clue, and that's the struggle with it. But the more it gets traction, it's building and building. And like you said, once it's launched, as far as from the government, this we're talking about here, it's going to be a big big news story. So yeah.
Exactly. And one of the things I think that is cool about the co-branded agent flyer that we have, if you're a company that does market directly to agents and does leave behind flyers, we do a case study specifically for your state, which shows an example of what a family in your region could be eligible for. And that's a real eye opener for a lot of agents when they look down at it and they're like, wait, my client could qualify for $8,500 for a new heat pump, and you're telling me that they need a new heating system? Like, game on. So I think that's a really cool feature.
I think too, it's best to go in, if you're selling this a la carte, what could these inspectors sell this for? What are you seeing, Shannon?
I have seen literally everything. So, the lowest price I've seen is probably $50. And the highest is in Seattle and it's 175. So I can't know what's going to work in every market. You know what your demographic is like and what the market will bear. And I encourage people to test it, see what it is. Like if it's 5 minutes of work, what does that cost you? Like $10? Not even, so why not test any of it?
Margins are good, and our team thinks it's worth $100 all day long or more. So, I mean, for the amount of information's in it. So just to the inspectors that are going to sell this a la carte, there's some good margins in it for sure.
Awesome. Is that it for questions, AJ?
I think so. Brian did add that he thinks he will add a 1-page report in Inspectora that has a link to the live website. He thinks that solves the problem. So
okay. I'm happy to connect him with our ops team, and they're much smarter than I am at how all of that stuff integrates. So I did want to wrap up because we have a couple of minutes, Chad, with you and me sort of talking about where we see the future of home inspections going. I mean, I'm very excited about this product, not just because I think energy reports are such a great feature to offer to people, because I also think it really opens the door to having a much longer conversation between home inspectors and homeowners. That elusive relationship that has been hard to maintain could be from all these additional services, or keeping them tied to the information that you've given them. I mean, where do you see like inspections going, Chad? I mean, I think inspectors could really stand to play a much larger role in the home buying journey going forward.
Yeah, I believe so too. I mean, what I've seen too in the last couple of years, that home inspectors are adding a lot of ancillary services, even vendor relationships with other companies to help their buyers fix any of the issues. So I really feel like our industry is going into just an all-around consultant for their buyers for the rest of the homeowners, life, as far as we're going to be the go-to person. And so that's what we're doing at the Elite Group. We're building these ancillary services, and then just building these vendor relationships to help these home buyers, because they just don't know where to go to get these things fixed. And so it's great that we have these choices for them if they need it. So
yeah. And I think that's something that we could help with as well. Like, as we're bringing in technology, as I mentioned, and all these big data sets. We just partnered with a company that has all of the building permit information in the US. Imagine if, a homeowner could simply ask, like, hey, who should I call? My water heater's making a weird noise. And the inspector knows who installed it in the first place 4 years ago. Like, those are just great conversations to be able to have. And I think an inspector could easily charge money for that from an ongoing subscription basis with home buyers, just to really be that consultant. Every homeowner needs it.
Yeah.
So
definitely. And I mean, as far as transactionally this year, we're seeing a year over year up 25-30% already in California. So we're getting busier and busier as far as looking at it, as far as a market outlook. And our prices, the more value we've been adding, the prices have been increasing without even blinking on the other side. So
yeah,
the more value you add, like this Energy Raven report, you can increase your prices, and just it's just a breath of fresh air to keep on adding value and increasing those prices. So we've always been the low guys on the totem pole as far as getting paid, and we're kind of reversing that as we speak. And so that's where I see the outlook of the inspection industry. We're going to start getting paid a lot more in the next few years here, but you got to
Yeah.
build that value behind inspections.
You're not
so
wrong. That is very well said. Very well said. Well, I think that's a wrap for us, AJ. If there's no more questions, I would really like to thank all the listeners for spending time with us and for considering this and for your good questions. We're both available for any other questions anybody has. You know, we just want to support you guys as you go into this next year and wish you all the best.
Do you guys have a contact that you can pop up on this page real quick?
Oh, that would be so clever if I could do that. Let me see. You've
So if
seen
you'd like
my
to type it out in the chat, that could work too. That way, if anybody wants to get a hold of you guys, they know how to.
yeah, let's
Yeah.
see.
I'm gonna put my email here for everyone to see. So if they want to reach out, ask any questions, feel free. From an operational standpoint, as far as the product, how we use it, but getting signed up, that would be Energy Raven and onboarding. It is really easy how you guys do this. It's like the onboarding is crazy easy.
Let me
We try. We really try.
You do very well. When my team says it, they really mean it, because
Well, you have a heck of a lot of inspectors too, so I'm sure if there was any pushback, you'd have heard it by now. So
Hey,
I just put
on
the chat in our contact information. So please do reach out to us. You can also go to our website and contact us there. You know, we're just here, happy to help.
thank you for your time, Shannon and Chad. Thank you everybody for spending your evening with us. You guys take it easy. Have a good night, and I'll see you on the next one.
Thank you so much. Bye,
Good night,
everyone.
everyone. Thank you.